Thank you. So I'll declare the January Ordinary Council meeting open and welcome councillors. We've got a full house today, staff and members of the gallery and any of those viewing online. Disclaimer, members of the public are advised that recommendations to council contained within this agenda can be subject to change. Applicants and other interested parties should refrain from taking any action until written advice is received confirming council's decision with respect to any particular issue. Any statement or insinuation of approval regarding any planning or development application made during an ordinary council meeting is not to be taken as notice of approval. Anyone who has an application lodged with the Shire must obtain and should only rely on written confirmation of the outcome of the application and any conditions attached to the decision made by council. Council members and the community are reminded that should an exemption resolution be passed, this has the effect of making the decision to accept the officer's recommendation as stated in the agenda as the council's decision without change. An audio and visual record will be made by means of live streaming of these proceedings and uploaded to the Shire's YouTube page for viewing. Acknowledgement of country. The Shire of Harvey acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal communities and their cultures and to elders and emerging elders both past and present. Procedural motion, I put forward that Council suspend Standing Orders Part 8, Clause 8.5. Members to indicate their intention to speak and to rise when speaking, to allow members to remain seated when speaking, to improve the quality of the audio recording of the meeting. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Holly. Put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Record of apologies and leave of absence. Apologies and leave of absence is nil. Applications for leave, we have 2 councillors, so I deal with Councillor McCarthy has requested a leave of absence from Friday the 21st of February through to Friday the 27th of February 2026 inclusive. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Bromham. Seconder, Councillor Coleman. Put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. And a request for a leave of absence from Councillor Holly for the period 16th of February through to the 27th of February 2026 inclusive. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor McCarthy. Seconder, Councillor Coleman. We'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Okay, declarations of members and officers' personal interest. Do we have any declarations, councillors and staff? That is nil. Thank you. Questions by members of which due notice has been given is nil. Response to previous questions taken on notice is nil. Public question time. Are there any questions from the gallery? That is nil then. Petitions, deputations and presentations, I have nil. Are there any? No, thank you. Announcements by presiding member or CEO without discussion. CEO, do you have anything? No. I just want to thank councillors and staff who participated in the Australia Day breakfast yesterday, and more importantly, I suppose, the citizenship ceremonies that was held in Harvey. Thank you very much for your support and to staff for coordinating everything. I think at Brunswick and Harvey they were fantastic turnout and from the residents and the like, so well done. Congratulations to our 55 new citizens and also to our residents that were awarded and recognised through the community awards process as well. So well done everybody. Confirmation of minutes. We have the ordinary council meeting held on Tuesday the 16th of December. I have a recommendation here that the minutes of the council meeting be accepted as printed and confirmed as a true and correct record. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Morley, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Hitchcock. Is there any discussion about those minutes, councillors? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. And following that, we have the minutes of the Audit Committee meeting held on Tuesday the 13th of January. We have an officer's recommendation here. Do I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Coleman, thank you. Seconder, Councillor McCarthy. Any discussion, councillors? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. We'll now get into the officers' reports. 12.1.1, which is to deal with the South West Country Zone meeting. This is to note the minutes from the Welga South West Country Zone meeting. Do I have a mover for this one? Thank you. Councillor Bromham. A seconder. Councillor Holly. Any discussion? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Item 12.1.2, which is the Council Action Register for January 2025 through to December 2025. We have an officer's recommendation here. Do I have a mover for this one, please? Councillor Coleman, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Morley. Any discussion, councillors? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Item 12.1.3, which is the Council Plan Quarterly Report for Quarter 2, 2025 through to 2026. We have an officer's recommendation. Do I have a mover for this one? Councillor Coleman, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Bromham. Any discussion, councillors? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Through to Infrastructure Services, item 12.2.1, which is the Bushfire Risk Management Plan 2025 through to 2027. We have an officer's recommendation here. Do I have a mover for this one, please? Councillor Morley, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Dickinson. Any discussion, Councillor Morley? Question, Councillor Bromham?
Thank you. I noticed there was a couple of spelling errors still in the document. I'll take that be done administratively after this.
Yes, that's correct.
Councillor Dickinson as a seconder. Any further discussion, councillors? Okay, we'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Sustainable development is nil, and noted it's nil. Thank you. 12.4 corporate services. 12.4.1 is our financial statements as at the 31st of December 2025. We have an officer's recommendation here. Do I have a mover for this one? Councillor Coleman, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Dickinson. Likely to be any discussion? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you, councillors. And 12.4.2, payments for December 2025. Do I have a mover for this? Councillor Bromham, thank you. A seconder, Councillor Holly. Any discussion? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Pardon? I know, it's good practice, isn't it? Okay, 12.5, community lifestyle. 12.5.1, the Reconciliation Action Plan report. Before I put this one forward, councillors, just let you know that I wish to foreshadow a motion that we actually defer this item through to February 2026 to allow for some further consultation. But we'll see if there's a mover for the officer's recommendation first before we move to, if we need to move to the foreshadowed. So do I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Okay, that one lapses. We'll move through to my foreshadowed, which is up on the screen. Do I have a seconder for that one? Councillor Bromham, thank you. I'll speak as the mover. I must admit that I'm a little bit surprised that this has come out, but I believe that we need to just do a little bit more tweaking around this one and do a little bit more consultation with the Aboriginal community within the Shire of Harvey. So I think deferring this through till February will just make sure that we are on track with the reconciliation plan and that all stakeholders are happy to move forward with it. It's an important document and we need to make sure that we get it right and that the key stakeholders are happy with the actual document. There are many benefits to having the RAP, of course, and hopefully we will be able to iron out any of those smaller issues and we'll bring it back in February. Councillor Bromham, as the seconder, did you wish to speak?
I think you said everything, Madam President.
Thank you. Are there any speakers against? Councillor Carboni.
Thank you, Madam President. And I'll say right from the outset that everyone wants better outcomes for the Aboriginal people. But I'm entitled to my view, and I've stated my view in the past, and I'll continue it on with this. So I would foreshadow a motion that we scrap the RAP, but I'll speak to why it shouldn't be deferred and probably why it should be scrapped. I don't see why the Shire should be directing our limited resources to something like this when we should be concentrating on the core services that the Shire should be providing. Getting tied up in these government frameworks achieves nothing. This is just ticker box compliance. RAPs can be symbolic rather than substantive, and I see this RAP document that I've read during the week as exactly being that. This is about optics without delivering real outcomes. And I've spoken in previous weeks about what real outcomes we can achieve here as a council, and I don't believe that we can achieve those real outcomes. You know, are we going to stop the deaths in custody? No. Are we going to get the kids in school? No. As the list goes on, that the federal has all their pointers, their markers and that, there's nothing that we can contribute there. So not having one avoids performative commitments that aren't followed through. By having a RAP in place, it requires year-on-year staff time. It takes up staff time. They need to do reporting. They need to consult. And of course, there's the training element that all staff and councillors would have to do. So the focus should be on practical outcomes instead of RAP frameworks. Reconciliation should be action-driven, not policy-driven. Organisations such as ours can support Indigenous people through direct service delivery, employment and community partnerships. And it's been said earlier today that they'd rather deal directly than have some RAP agreement in place. If you want to employ an Aboriginal person, it's the Shire, it's an operational matter in the Shire, they can employ an Aboriginal people. They don't need a RAP document in place to do that. If they want to buy off an Aboriginal company, you can. And don't forget, this is what these RAP agreements do. It gives preference to Aboriginal companies in the tender process than it does your local companies or any other company that's tendering. It gives preference to employment of Aboriginal people than any other race, basically. That's what these RAP agreements are for. That's what they're in place for. So as an organisation, I believe we should be keeping organisational neutrality. RAPs can be viewed as positioning the Shire within a broader political and social debate, and I don't believe we should be going there. Not having one can help maintain perceived neutrality and focus on statutory and operational responsibilities, which is what we're here for. Roads, rates and rubbish, basically. Not having one avoids legal or reputational risk. Public commitments create accountability. If RAP goals aren't met, the Shire can face divisiveness, criticism, reputational damage and accusations of bad faith. Direct engagement, as has been suggested today by one of the councillors that has spoken to an Aboriginal member, direct engagement is better than rather than formal promises. I think we need to recognise that reconciliation is broader than one plan. Reconciliation is a national and community-wide process. Not having a RAP doesn't automatically mean opposition to reconciliation. We can do our bit. Some groups preferred tailored, localised engagement instead of national framework, and that's what's been suggested today. Specifically in our RAP plan that I've noticed, some of the KPIs, if you like, or some of the things that they want us to look at, is the naming of localities. And we've already had a request here. We've already been emailed a request here as councillors to rename Stirling Cottage. I mean, where's this going to stop? Everything just, I mean, there's endless numbers of things in the Shire that have been named after our colonial past. Do you want to rename Stirling Cottage? Brunswick was named after the Duke of Brunswick. Sir James Avenue was named after Sir James Mitchell. Are we going to rename these things? And look at the Woomera-Dundee Highway. Was the Shire consulted about the name of the Woomera-Dundee Highway? No, it wasn't. That name was just given. Is that what we want as a Shire? Any new development that comes online here, do we want our street names in a new development all named after Aboriginal people, despite the fact now we have a strong Filipino culture or race in our Shire, strong Italian race as well, a very multicultural mix in the Shire. This is singling out one race, and I don't think we should be doing that. We should be keeping neutral. Welcome to country, you all know my views on that. I mean, even quite a lot of senior Aboriginal people are now saying it's overdone, it's cooked, it's defeating its purpose. Guys, there's a reason why Pauline Hanson is so popular in the polls at the moment. It's because of divisive stuff like this that's being peddled at the moment. We need to come together as one under one flag, and as we saw yesterday, burning of Australian flags, marchings about Invasion Day. Where's the reconciliation in that? You tell me. You know, there was a poll done just recently where from 83% of 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds support Australia Day staying on the date that it is. You need to listen to what's happening out in the community. We don't need to be the ones out there putting ourselves on the chopping block. I think this plan should be scrapped. I think there's no need for it in this council. Let's concentrate on what we're here to do.
Councillor Cabani, I just want to get the wording for your foreshadowed motion, please. Have we got something? We just put in. I particularly don't want to use the word scrap in the.
Terminated.
We'll just give them a moment so that we can get that wording. Do you have a question, Councillor Bronwyn?
Yeah, I do. I just wondered, is there a link between RAPs being produced by different councils and government loans from federal and state government bodies, such as was it Lotteries West?
Through to CEO, through to Director of Community Lifestyle.
Thank you for the question. I would have to take that on notice.
Councillor Coleman, question.
Question, thanks, Madam President. If we agree to defer this motion or this RAP plan for a month or so, does that allow for a rewrite, or does that just allow for more conversation and it essentially comes back to council in the same format? So I'm just wondering the outcome, the potential outcome of a deferral.
My understanding is that it will allow for further conversation with the key stakeholders in the Shire to make sure that we are on track with the reconciliation plan. There may be some minor changes to it, but it's making sure that the work that the staff have done already through a significant amount of consultation with our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders within the Shire sits well with the stakeholders, basically. Councillor Bronwyn, question?
Yeah, thank you. I just wondered if staff can elaborate on what they mean by key stakeholders.
That's my terminology that I've used, Councillor Bronwyn, and I'm happy to elaborate the key stakeholders that I would see us doing this further consultation with would be the likes of the Harvey Aboriginal Corporation, some senior elders throughout the Shire, and certainly sitting down and having a yarn with them to make sure that what we have drafted in the RAP, they are basically happy with to move forward. Councillor Coleman?
Just a question based on that, Madam President. So are we also consulting, considering that it's a reconciliation plan, are we also consulting with the rest of the community, not just with our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders? And if so, how extensive is that?
I'm going to push that through to the director, because my understanding is it has gone out for community consultation, but that level of consultation I'll get staff to respond to.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, we have put the draft RAP out for community consultation. We've asked for feedback from the broader community. The actual content of the RAP has been discussed in more detail with our Aboriginal community members, being that it is an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander reconciliation action plan. However, as I said, we have asked for broader feedback from the community.
Okay, Councillor Carboni, you indicated you wish to foreshadow a motion. Are you happy with that wording? Okay. A speaker for the motion? Mine, not Councillor Carboni's, Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Madam President. This morning I had some views, and then I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with one of our local Aboriginal elders, as Council is aware. And despite that conversation, I did form an opinion. And I've got to say, look, I don't have a strong personal view either way as to the Reconciliation Action Plan, as I've always been of the mind that people are people and all should be treated respectfully and in consideration of their cultures. I do, however, acknowledge, but I bear no responsibility or guilt for the treatment of Aboriginal people historically, as I had no control or connection with that treatment. As some know, I was seriously assaulted in October 2015 in a well-documented incident here in Harvey, and have suffered through 5 surgeries as a result of that assault. And I honestly do understand the pain and mental anguish brought about by the actions of others and the ongoing trauma that accompanies those actions. I can, as can we all in this instance, have some, if not a minuscule effect on history going forward. I've formed an opinion that reconciliation, if done properly, is not about statements or ceremonies. I see it about being relationships, trust, engagement, listening and planning on how we make decisions as individuals, a community, and in this case, a council that serves as in its entire community. Reconciliation done properly is not symbolism. It's good governance and healthy for all the community, regardless of race, religion or culture. It must be real, not performative. It must be local, accountable and measurable, not a template document that looks good and delivers little. In my opinion, that would be insulting and nothing more than virtue signalling. If the plan is adopted and approved down the track, it means holding it to account through transparent reporting, genuine local engagement and clear outcomes. And for those reasons, I support your motion.
Thank you, Councillor Morley. Speaker against? Speaker for? No further speakers. I'll sum up by saying that conversely to the points that Councillor Carboni raised to speak against the RAP, there are the positives as well. And, you know, I see the RAP as a pathway to improved consultation that Councillor Morley touched on, collaboration and basic mutual respect. It leads to a more inclusive and culturally informed decisions by council. It aligns with state and federal and grant funding bodies. It sees or places council as a value driver, builds community pride and confidence when done well, and that's what I make sure. That's why I'm asking council to consider deferring it, to make sure that we have this document done correctly, and shows reconciliation in action and not just in words. So, and I suppose the other one is that council has already adopted this as part of their council plan moving forward. So it's already a part of our council plan that we will do a reconciliation action plan. So having said that, councillors, I'm hoping that you will support my foreshadowed motion that we defer this for another month. Let's tweak it a bit. Let's make sure that the conversation that we're having with the stakeholders is what they want, and let's bring it back in February. So I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Against? 2 against. So that's carried 7-2. Thank you, councillors. Elected members' motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. Councillors, there is a notice of motion for the following meeting from Councillor Carboni. So we look forward to having that discussion next month. New business of an urgent nature introduced by the decision of the meeting is nil. We'll now move behind closed doors. If I can have a mover for that one, please. Councillor Morley, thank you. A seconder, Councillor Carboni. Put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. We'll now move behind closed doors. Thank you. Thank you, and we've just returned from behind a very quick closed doors discussion, but in regards to item 7.1.1, the Harvey Community Precinct Stage 1, Council has approved the variation to the tender. for the Harvey Community Precinct to allow Christo Design Group to complete the proposed design review and documentation for stage 1 of the Harvey Community Precinct project for the amount of $281,640, and authorises the CEO to sign and approve the required variation forms for the approved value. So this is very exciting to see this project progressing. Councillors and staff, being no more further business, I'll declare this meeting closed at 4:30, and we'll see you all back here for the annual general meeting or electors meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you very much for your time.